According to Metta Sutta, we practice Metta Bhavana. We radiate loving kindness meditation, developing loving kindness in ordinary ways, and developing Metta by distinguishing into two categories. Developing Metta by distinguishing into two categories are four. There is Dukkha method, and developing Metta by distinguishing into three categories. They are three. In the Dukkha method, number one, there are two categories. Beings who are fearless, noble arahants, they are one group. Another group is beings who have fear, fearful beings. They are another group. And number two, there are two categories. One is beings who have been met and seen before. Another one is beings who have never been met and seen before. And number three, dukkha, is beings who are living near. Another one is beings who are living afar. And number four, dukkha, beings who have ceased to become. Another one being who will be reborn again. So dukkha method four. In the tika method, number five, beings who have long bodies. They are one group. Beings who have short bodies. Another one is beings who have medium size. There are three categories in number five. And number six, beings who have huge bodies. Beings who have small bodies, and beings who have medium-sized bodies. Three categories in number six. And number seven, beings whose body is fat. Beings whose body is very tiny and small, and beings who have medium-sized bodies. So many categories Buddha mentioned. May all those beings be happy in both body and mind. This is developing Metta according to Metta Sutta. So these are the manner of developing Metta with a view to bring about prosperity and wealth for other beings, for other people. Thereafter, Buddha instructed how to develop Metta, hoping to get liberated from misery and suffering. And this stanza is Na parapraniko beta, etc. One should not cheat, or one should not practice deception against another. May all beings escape from becoming a victim of fraud. In commercial or business affairs, fraudulent dealings or deception may take place. In religious affairs, deception is also practiced. In the matter of making a business deal, criminal deception done is by way of deceiving the buyer by the seller in this transaction by the use of false weight less than the correct weight, by placing it on scales or weighing machine, or by using a measuring cup which holds less in quantity of goods or commodities in relation to a standard container. This kind of trick is fairly common. It is well known to the majority of the people. Another thing is found in the sale of articles made of gold or silver, and gold or silver ingots, which are imitation, which are not genuine. This is also common. Sometimes a cheat may pretend as an honest man. At one time, a cheat visited a group of villagers and played deception on them. After the cheat has seen the bundle of currency notes in the hands of those villagers, he persuaded them that if those currency notes were exchanged, they would get more money. Believing his words, some of them who are rather greedy entrusted the cheat with their currency notes. The cheat, after promising them that he would bring back more money than what was originally worth, took away the money. It is also one kind of fraud. Some people deceive others into believing that they would turn the original weight of gold into a greater amount. Credulous person with greed, wishing to receive more more gold, handed over the gold in trust to the cheat. Not long afterwards, this cheat has disappeared, never to return to them again. There is another kind of deceit. Then also some offered charms or magic trinkets to be worn for keeps so as to bring good luck and fortune to the one who wears or keeps in possession permanently. Such kinds of deception should make one reflect as to whether it is believable or not. There are quite a variety of deceptive practices in connection with business dealings. What we know is just some hints. In matters relating to religions, deceptive practices are in plenty. To preach false doctrine as truth would cause to bring disadvantages to others who have accepted such heresy, false teaching. During the time of the Lord Buddha, one Pona who was practicing like an ox and the other by the name of Senia who was practicing like a dog called on the Buddha and asked, what advantages could be derived from indulgence of such practices? The practices like an ox or the practices like a dog. The enlightened one prevented them twice from putting up this problematic question. On being asked for the third time, Lord Buddha gave the answer. Pona and Senia, a person who indulged in the practice like an ox, or rather a bullock, to the full, will become an ox after his demise. So also a person who has fully practiced like a dog will be reborn a dog in the next existence. If the practices performed are incomplete and not fully accomplished, it would amount to practicing deception under a false pretense. And the person who thus practices for having accepted the heretical views would go down to the netherworlds, would go down to hell or become an animal after his death. Buddha replied like this. Having heard Buddha's reply, Pona and Senia wept bitterly. They wept because after becoming victim of frauds, they had gone through such ignoble and false practices for a considerable length of time, believing their teacher deceitful words, that by practicing either as an ox or a dog, they would reach an existence in life hereafter where happy condition prevail. So there is a cheat. There is no sign of loving kindness to the students. Another instance is that one Dalabuddha, an instructor by profession in the art of dancing, reverentially asked the Lord Buddha, "One day I have heard what other teachers in succession have said that a dancer, being capable of giving delight and pleasure to the public, in his next existence, the dancer will become a jovial or crownish devas called Bahasa in another planet. Then what is your teaching in regard to this matter?" The Buddha asked the Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha twice rejected this question. But when the same question was raised for the third time, the enlightened one gave a categorical reply. Dala Buddha, from the very outset, the dancer, for having entertained with his performances to the delight of the audience, who are as yet unliberated from the evils of greed, anger, and delusion, has caused to develop the ace of greed, anger, and delusion. Hence, in the next existence after his demise, it is very likely that that dancer would go to hell, called Bahasa. By firmly holding a false and bigoted views, that if by performing the dances, he would become a deva in his future existence, he will probably land either in hell or become an animal. Hearing this Buddha statement, Talabuddha, the chief dancer, the chief dance instructor, began to cry because he had been deceived by his teacher all throughout a long period of time, that by staging dancing performances before an audience, to make them happy and pleasurable, then we become a Pahasadeva. It is also one kind of cheat. Moreover, there are similar instances of these kinds of deception. At the present time, a number of preaching are being done which run counter to the noble wish of the enlightened one. On an erroneous assumption of the Buddha's Dhamma, Buddha's teaching. Although Buddha has precisely preached that all akusala should be avoided, sabababasa akaranam, all akusala, all demeritorious acts should be avoided. Kusalasa upasambada, virtuous deeds should be performed. Practical exercise should be made for the achievement of sila, samadhi, and pinya, morality, concentration, and wisdom. Samatha bhavana and vipassana bhavana, vipassana meditation should invariably be practiced. The Eightfold Magginga should be developed. Preaching contrary to the Buddha's noble teaching are being delivered. So how they teach the preaching contrary to the true Dhamma. So they said, akusala kilesa means impermanent. As such, for not being permanently present, it is not required to reject akusala. They teach in this way. And they teach to make effort for the purpose of killing is more difficult than to refrain from killing others. And they teach it is suffering according to the Buddha teaching, which says, Sabbe Sankhara Dukkha. If meritorious deeds are performed, or if Sila Samadhi Pinya, morality, concentration, and wisdom practices are exercised, and if bhavana, practical meditation is resorted to, these are suffering. Preaching are also done that it would amount to practicing asceticism, and that all forms of severe exercises causing physical hardship are miserable. And they go on preaching further that simply by remaining in seclusion at peace without putting in any effort in the practice of meditation, you can gain happiness. That means just the total enjoyment is real happiness. They teach in this way. Such kinds of nonsensical talks are obviously contrary to the Buddha's teaching. Such being the case, it is quite certain that those who have accepted this wrong faith with a false belief in those contrary teaching, which are diametrically opposite to the noble teaching of the Lord Buddha, we have been developing akusala, sinful acts, without gaining merits. Eventually, without anything to be relied upon, these people are likely to become unhappy through their own personal experience. When confronted with misery and suffering, at one time or the other, since evil karma or akusala, unwholesome karma, will predominate over wholesome, which has ceased to function for being subjected to fraud. As stated in the foregoing, a person who has been deceived will suffer badly either from the point of view of his business deal or from the point of view of his from the point of view of religions. However, it will be more disastrous if he is defrauded in religious matters. So Lord Buddha has instructed to develop Metta as may they be free from deception, either in dealing with business or religious affairs. So when we develop Metta, we have to develop Metta in this way. May one be able to refrain himself from cheating the other person, and may they escape from becoming a victim of fraud. So simply we have to develop in this way. May all beings be free from deception. So can you follow me? May all beings be free from deception. May all beings be free from deception. May all beings be free from deception. So this is also Metta radiation, Metta Bhavana. Then Nati minyeta katachina kanchi. May one not disregard or slight any one person at any place or anywhere, whether in a town or a village or in a public place. May they be free from becoming discourteous too, or may they be free from ignoring the other. If the other person is slighted or ignored by one with egoism, it would be sinful to the person who slights or ignores. This kind of attitude will have an adverse effect on him at one time or the other. A person who is slighted will feel bad and very much depressed. Some of the senior officer may ignore or slight an outsider or even a junior officer if that person calls on him on duty. And some of the Mahatheras, senior monks, are likely to neglect or ignore the junior monks. Those who are thus slighted or neglected may feel extremely unhappy. So it is clear that the person who slights the other has no loving kindness towards the other for having failed to put himself in another's shoes. That is probably the reason why Lord Buddha has given instruction to develop Metta, whereby the occurrence of miserable feelings in both parties will be prevented. If cordial relationship were established between the two parties without slighting one another, the whole world will be a very congenial place for everybody to live in. So when we do Metta Bhavana, we have to do Metta in this way. May one not feel incourtesy or respect to any other person. May one be free from thoughts to slight the other. And may one be friendly towards others. Then Vyarosana Padika Sinya Ninya Minyasa Dukha Mijaya. Vyarosana, that means by causing bodily harm and by threatening the other verbally and by ill treating. Patika Sinya means with a feeling of anger. Inya Minyasa, that means mutually towards each other. Dukkha Mijaya, may one not be desirable misery. May one not be long for misery. Mutually towards each other. If one person physically assaults the other or abuse or incite the other to do harm and cause injury, or if the person is plotting to cruelly ill-treat the other, such person we have committed a vice. In future, when circumstances become unfavorable, he will meet with various kinds of suffering for that akusala bad deeds he has committed. Of course, the person who is subjected to ill treatment presently suffers. So Buddha instructed to develop metta towards others to be free from such misery by avoidance of the misdeeds. So to develop metta according to that instruction, we have to develop metta bhavana in this way. May one be free from evil to cause misery to the other by making an assault physically. May one be free from evil to cause misery to the other by words of mouth. May one be free from evil to cause misery to the other by evil thoughts. So can you follow me? May one be free from evil to cause misery to the other by making an assault physically. That is physical and verbal. Can you follow me? May one be free from ill will to cause misery to the other by words of mouth. It is verbally and mentally. Can you follow me? May one be free from evil to cause misery to the other by evil thoughts. So physically, verbally, mentally, may one be free from evil to cause misery to the other. We have to develop. By developing metta in this manner, it is not just to recite superficially. Yogi must be really serious and have profound loving kindness towards the other, wishing them happiness at the same time. So this has been illustrated in the following example. So how genuine metta should be developed. That is an illustration. Mata yata niyam Buddha. Mayusa eka Buddha manurake evam bisabha buddhesu manasam bhavi aparimana. The mother, in respect of her own flesh and blood, the only beloved son, at the sacrifice of her own life, the mother will always be guarding or looking after him. In the same manner, in regard to all kinds of beings, boundless or immense loving kindness, wishing them happiness, may be repeatedly developed. In this verse, the manner of relationship between mother and son has been particularly cited as an example. Generally, mothers' affection and loving care for sons and daughters far surpass that of the father. That is the reason why the mother has been cited as an example. Loving care and affection may not be bestowed upon adopted children by the parents, such as they would confer to their own children. So an example of the only beloved son is cited. However, if there are many sons, the degree or strength of affectionate feeling and loving care may not be great, despite the fact that they are their own flesh and blood. Usually, boundless love is bestowed upon the only son in a family. That is why comparison has been made to the only son. The degree of love for the only son is well known to mothers who have sons of their own. It is clear. The mother will sacrifice her own life for her only son, the only child of her own, when occasion demands. Similarly, in developing Metta, Lord Buddha instructed that yogi should have utmost loving kindness and compassionate feeling towards all beings, regardless of his own life, regardless of his uh, own self. The example that has been illustrated is really deep and profound. Again, we will explain Sima Samveda. Sima Samveda explained in the Visuddhimagga, in the second part of the text of Dhamma. In this connection, that has been stated that while a person who is developing metta is living together with the person who is dear to him and a person who is neutral and also an enemy, a hostile person, he should not give to the wish of the villains who demanded any one of them to be handed over to them for the purpose of offering him as a gift to propitiate a god in performing a rituals. Even if he surrender himself as a victim, it will not yet amount to achievement of the quality of Sima Sambeda. On the other hand, according to this Metta Sutta, it would convey the sense that one who is developing metta should radiate his loving kindness, wishing the other to gain happiness, just as a mother would do with immense love for her only son, which goes up to the extent of her willingness to sacrifice her own life. If reference were made to what is stated in the commentary, comparing with the Pali text, it will be found that the illustration is made with emphasis upon the deep feeling of metta, which one should have towards beings, just as a mother is lovingly taking care of her own son. It should be interpreted to mean that yogi must have a feeling of loving kindness towards other beings to the extent as he would have for his own welfare. The instruction given in many Pali texts indicate one to develop metta towards all other beings on an equal basis as he would have on his own self. There are no instruction to the effect that one should have love for others more than he would love his own self. Furthermore, Metta Bhavana means one should not leave out any one of the living beings, that is without exception and without limit in developing metta through meditation if capable of doing so. So we have to stop our discourse for today. Next week we will continue how to develop broadly with limit. When we radiate metta, we have to radiate without limit. By developing metta bhavana, by practicing vipassana meditation continuously and meticulously, may all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Aviromi Avyabajomi Anigomi Sukiyadana Bariharami Mama Madapidu Achariyacam Nyati Medacam Saramacharinacam Averahamdu Avyapachahondu Anigahondu Sikiyadana Bariharamdu Imasame Arame Sabe Yoginam Averahamdu Avyapachahondu Anigahondu Sikiyadana Bariharamdu Imasame Arame Save Bhikkhu Samaneracha Upasaka Upasikaya Averahamdu Avyapachahondu Anigahondu Sikiyadana Bariharamdu Amagam Chadivijaya Dayakam Averahamdu Avyapachahondu Anigahondu Sikiyadana Bariharamdu Amagamaraga Devadam Imasame Vihare Imasame Avase Imasame Vaja Hondu Aniga Hondu Sikiyatana Variharandu Sabe Saddam Sabe Vanam Sabe Buddham Sabe Bhogalam Sabe Attavava Variyavanam Savaitiya Sabe Purisam Sabe Ariyam Sabe Nariyam Sabe Devam Sabe Manosam Sabe Vinibatigam Avera Hondu Avyavaja Hondu Aniga Hondu Sikiyatana Variharandu Dukkha Mochandu Yatha Lada Sambadido Mawikechandu Kamasakam Purati Maya Disayam Vachimaya Disayam Uttaraya Disayam Dakinaya Disayam Purati Maya Disayam Pachimaya Disayam Uttaraya Disayam Dakinaya Disayam Iti Maya Disayam Uvari Maya Disayam Sabe Saddha Sabe ve atta bhava pariyapana sabba ittiyam sabbe purisam sabbe ariyam sabbe anariyam sabbe deva sabbe manusam sabbe vinipatikam Arirahondu Aryabhajahondu Anigahondu Sikiyatanam Pariharandu Dukkha Mojandu Yatta Latta Sambaditam Mavikichandu Kamasaka Udaya Bhavagacha Adoya wa avichitam Samanta Chakavalesu Ye Satta Bhadavi Jaram Aryavacha Niveracha Nidokacha Nuvadawa Udayawa Bhavagacha Adoyawa Avichitam Samanta Chakavalesu Ye Satta Agagechara Aryavacha Niveracha Nidokacha Nuvadawa Odamyawa Bhavagacha Adoyawa Avichitam Samanta Chakavalesu Atta Akase Jaram Aryabhaja Niveracha Nidokha Chanubhadawa Imaya Dhamma Nidhamma Vati Vatiya Buddha Mujemi Imaya Dhamma Nidhamma Vati Vatiya Dhamma Mujemi Imaya Dhamma Nidhamma Vati Vatiya Sangha Mujemi Imaya Dhamma Nidhamma Vati Vatiya Madamidara Ujemi Imaya Dhamma Nidhamma Vati Vatiya Acariye Ujemi Adai Maya Vati Vataya Jara Maranama Parimoje Sami Idame Punya Asawakayawaham Adu Idame Sila Megavalanya Vajayam Hodu Imano Punyavaga Savasadanam Dema Save Sada Sikidam Ondu Sadhu Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sadhu, 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 sad